I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Hello, folks. Welcome back. This is Chris live in central Pennsylvania. It's still Valentine's Day here on the East Coast of the United States at 23:04 p.m. My clock matches the atomic time. Welcome back to the program, folks. Lots going on tonight. As usual, we'll be on for about an hour on this program. I'll break, take a short pause, a little kleine Pause, and then we will reconvene with the coverage of a rally at the United States Embassy, the American Embassy in Pretoria, South Africa, in Hatfield. That rally being organized by Willem Petzer and others to rally in support of the United States, exposing the activities of the government of South Africa, the refugee offer, and also some other issues. So I'll be on there. A little bit of news tip on there. During the broadcast, if things go well, I'll be giving you live feeds from the cameramen on the ground, courtesy of Boer Media. And also, at some point, I will be going on their program, and then I will. I'm on Boer Media, and then I'll chat with them on their program, and then a little bit later on, before we wrap everything up, I'll call them, and they'll come on my program. So that should be interesting. I hope that goes well. Welcome back to everybody. At this hour, 23:05 on the 14th of February, here in the Western Hemisphere, it is no change. Status is the same for this refugee admissions program. President Trump announced an executive order exactly 1 week ago and 6 hours. Yes, no change, no information from the State Department or the Department of Homeland Security, and people are becoming a bit antsy. It's becoming a bit of a challenge to keep people calm. The same questions get asked over and over and over again. So we will see what happens. Let me go ahead and get to everybody in the chat, and then I've got some news for you. We'll talk about things. Also, give you an update on what happened to me today. I was fined today. That's right, I was fined for failing to comply with government regulations. Unfortunately, I did comply with the government regulations, but as usual, government data systems are broken, and the person who does the right thing gets blamed for it. Hopefully it's sorted out now, but I'll explain all that here shortly. First off, Reno Ferry, welcome to you. Thank you for your membership. It happened while we're offline. Hendo's here. Is that a short analysis? That was a rather long one. I thought 16 minutes. That video I posted this evening. By the way, folks, I have to admit that I was getting a bit knackered when I was editing that video. I was drifting off. So if you fall asleep listening to my analysis, you won't be the only one. I had to go back twice and make sure that the edits towards the last 5 minutes of that video were in order, and I put the right images in the right place because I was tired. Yeah, I was a bit knackered when I finished editing that video today. So yeah, anyway, that video is up, and it's not doing particularly well, but that's because it's the wrong hour. Most of my audience, or over half my audience, is in South Africa, and they were in bed when I put it up. But we're at 3,600. Is that correct? Let me see. 4,200. Well, it just jumped by 600 views in about 5 minutes. So there you go. It's picking up now because people are waking up in South Africa. Wakey, 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 South Africa. Yeah, yesterday's video on Ramaphosa, that one's doing not badly. 61,000, but it's died off. That one talks about Ramaphosa's response, and then I called it out. So yeah, after a couple of videos that kind of tailed off a few days ago, we're back on track here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Really grateful for the views, the constant flow of subscribers. It's such a nice change of pace after being in this business of broadcasting on YouTube regularly, consistently for 5 years now. The abuse that have been heaped on me by YouTube with shadow banning and other things, and also maybe sometimes the content just wasn't popular. But it's depressing to watch your subscriber numbers stagnate for months on end, or go up by 100 in an entire month and go down by 50. So watching it surge from just 20,000 to over 42,000 here in about 10 or 12 days is really exciting stuff. And it proves the point that we've always made is that people will find this content, they will find my presentation, and by and large, the vast majority of people will find it interesting and will at least have the courtesy to subscribe, whether they watch the content or not. We appreciate that. So thank them for that. I do. Anyway, so yeah, it's good to see that the videos are showing up, people are sharing it, that people are finding it because YouTube is actually promoting it. And I tip my hat to YouTube for ending the shadow banning. It's a miracle that I had the patience and the desire to continue doing this off in the wilderness, the gulag, for so long. But it was important. And now we're finally getting some attention, and people are finding it. So there you go. If this pace continues, dare I say, we may have some amazing numbers here coming up. But I'm not going to hold my breath. I think some of this is driven by people's intense desire to get the truth about what's happening with the refugee program, what's happening in South Africa-U.S. relations. And I suspect that when that dies down, we may see a huge drop-off in audience. But that's okay. As long as you subscribe, the bigger my subscription numbers, the more views I get, the easier it is to get big-time guests on here. Next week on Monday, Venant Dutoy from the Site Leonard Civil Defense Group be on here for our segment Fireside with the Colonels. On Wednesday, former CEO or director of the Institute for Race Relations, Franz Cronier, will be on the program. And Thursday next week, live from London, Rob Hersoff, South Africa businessman, will be back on the program. So Rob will be back on the program next week. We're going to talk a little bit different. That's my plan to tell Rob. I want to talk about something a little bit different. Sorry, folks, a little dehydrated there. Ah, boy. Okay. Looks good. Christmas man from SWAT. Yeah, you like that. You like that, Jan? That's pretty cool. That's actually a photo of me, and they put AI over top of it. It's pretty wild. The honesty and news is very much appreciated. Mr. Chris, thank you from South Africa. You're very welcome, Mr. Daniel. My pleasure. Okay. Monique Freak, born in 1993, lived under ANC rule my whole life, still waiting for my white privilege to kick in. Yeah, I'm waiting for my white privilege to kick in too. I mean, I can run through the times that I've been discriminated based on my race throughout my life by the federal government, and also the abuse I've been heaped on me by places in Africa, by assumptions. But, don't let that deter you. That doesn't define me. It doesn't define you. Gideon Maloney, welcome to you. Allison Johnson, how are you doing, young lady? Chris Marie's here. Alfonso Ferreira. L. Marie Mayer, good morning from Limpopo. Well, good morning to you. AM Risk Training is back. Goeiemorgen. Asseblief mensen, gaan naar Pretoria. Yes, AM Risk Training is asking people to go to Pretoria. Are you going, AM Risk Training? You don't have to answer that question. Arctic is back. Arctic, how's it going, man? No aviation mishaps today. Whew, thank goodness. Gott sei Dank. Thank God. Monique, Ellie, and who else there? Holden Caulfield is back. Les van Ice, welcome to you. Crystal Fleon, Suzanne van Vuren, Karen Janse van Rensburg, Elza Ugo, Edward dos Santos, the famous former leader of Angola. But it's actually Eduardo, not Edward, but close enough. Christian Peters, hey, welcome to you. Ulrich Fente. Okay, Richard Kuhn's back, born in 68, thinking maybe I had some of that white privilege in school. I never got mine. I sure didn't feel like white privilege when I was fetching water from a cistern below freezing, the water sloshing on my jeans, a skinny little 120-pound teenager walking down the hill to the trailer. True stories. Jeffrey McGregor, welcome. Hey, from Nelspruit. Cool. Sloth Puppy, Karen van Vyk. Come on, come back. Oh, it jumped on me. Sorry, I still got a pinch in my neck here. I kind of stretched earlier, but it didn't quite come out. It's driving me nuts. All right, that's where I was at. There we go. Yaku Basson, welcome to Unfiltered South. 138,000 signatures collected for the rally. Really, 138,000 signatures. That's amazing. I don't know where that petition was. Where do I find that petition? Does anybody know? Don't try to put a link in. Just tell me where to find it. 138,000. Wow. Line in the sand. Howdy from Windhoek. Welcome, Windhoek. Yeah. I love Windhoek. Kerry McDougall, good morning to you. And hope Trent does not listen to white South African leftist liberal tards. I don't think he will. He doesn't listen to him here. Why would he listen to him there? Leslie Ann Moon is back. Mr. Maldoff, welcome to you. Rosalind Amos. Sorry, that's a tough one. Fred Baranga. Analysis on Valentine's Day. Timing is everything. We're still busy doing the dishes. Phil Erasmus. Bitcoin Boat, welcome to you. Jacques. Okay. No Cliff Central, then I'm here. Oh, so you only watch me if there's no Cliff Central. Fair enough. Cliff was on at this time before me, and I don't mean to compete with Cliff Central and out-compete him, but this has proved to be a very useful time for me to do this while we're on a 7-hour difference time-wise because of daylight savings time. So hopefully this will be sorted out and I can ease up because I'm burning the candle at both ends and in the middle. And at some point, there'll be a cost. Susan says, good morning, Chris. Thank you all the time, the effort you put in presenting clear, truthful reporting. You're welcome. Your patience astounds me. Well, listen, Susan, it astounds me. I have never been a patient person. I don't tolerate fools very easily. Not that anybody here's a fool. I'm just saying I just don't tolerate fools. I've never been patient. I've always been impatient to get going with life, get something to do, something to accomplish things, to get things done. I really don't have patience, but you're there. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. Hopefully you're not going anywhere. I can try to be patient here. And I try, but we're not always patient. Sometimes we misread text and we get a little chancy under the collar there and respond. But for the most part, I try to be patient. Whole brick is cozying up to Trump. Yeah, the bricks are cozying up except the S. It's a good point there, but Carrie says, Ernst Rutz, you mentioned the other day, I hope he can still get onto your channel. Ernst Rutz has been on my channel several times. When Ernst and Ernst von Sale were in America last year, I went down to Maryland, picked them up at the train station, took them around for the day, showed them the eastern shore of Maryland across the Chesapeake Bay, took them across the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, went to Annapolis, the Naval Academy. We hung out. We got some steamed crabs in Annapolis. They had an interesting experience there. Yeah, Ernst Rutz has been on the channel. Ernst doesn't come on very often. I don't invite him very often. I haven't tried to invite him this time. Right now, he's kind of a lightning rod, and he's not really, I don't think, going to give much clarity on issues. But I'll get Ernst back on the program. I also appear frequently on Ernst von Sale's Conscious Character, but supposed to do an annual what's going to happen in Africa this year, and I've been pretty good at predicting for the most part because they're general predictions, but we haven't done that because of events. So Rob has his own YouTube. Yes. His plan, Arctic, is to saturate the airwaves and try to draw attention to the world, because Rob is not stupid. He sees the white monopoly capitalist of Bell Pottinger fame are busy, raking up the profits and not seeing what's coming. They're not very bright. Rob sees it, and the total collapse is something that I think he sees. Rob has been very kind. I dare say, maybe we're friends. I don't know. We're certainly acquaintances. He asked to come to my program. Thank you for your membership. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, last night we soared over 300 members. We've never had 300 before, even at the peak in the old channel. Back when we had 23,000 subscribers before it was censored and deleted by YouTube. Restored 23 months later. But back at that point, the best we ever had, I think, was like 258, 262 subscribers. So we're over 300. I'm humbled by that. Thank you. So thank you very much for that membership. That little bit of money does help. And next month, when I get a paycheck at the end of March for what's happening in February, I'll be very grateful to see the extra members on there. I won't see that money until about the 21st to 22nd of March. But thank you. After YouTube takes their 30% and then their 45% of advertising. Yeah, Rob has got a plan, but he's not really sharing. Yes, Rob is what you need on this podcast. That guy speaks truth. Only the big businessman taking on the government today. Yep. Liesel Holzhausen, welcome to you. Okay. Patrick is back. How's it going, Patrick? Okay. Carl Erasmus, I missed you there. There's Patrick. Going to hang around for 20 minutes going to the beach. You're going to the beach? They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats on the beach. What are you doing? By the way, I had to clean my pop filter. A good thing I put a pop filter on here. This newer microphone might last. The other one lasted 5 years. This might last longer. Of course, as long as I don't knock it over all the time, like you said, I knocked the other one over several times in my excitement. It might last longer. Chantel Boyson's here. Jan Filion, welcome to you. Boomers Core 84, click the thumbs up. Thank you. Johan Pratt, Texas. Morning, future American Patriots. Martinus Lorenz, Afrikaners must also understand USA had a big part in the fatal fall of our land. CI, the biggest culprit. Well, Martinus, that depends on who you believe and what you really know. So it's really difficult to address that and agree or disagree with you because there's truth on both sides. The United States tacitly tolerated the apartheid regime. The United States supported the apartheid regime openly and clandestinely, and the United States also imposed sanctions on South Africa and called for the end of apartheid. So take your pick, and we were doing the same. We were doing both sides of the fence at the same time at different times. So no one's responsible for the fall of the National Party except the National Party. That's your cross to bear. The reason your government changed because your government gave up and decided to take a different path without putting safety measures in place, and they've allowed this government to get to where it is today by creating a democratic system that is undemocratic in every fashion one can imagine. Nobody votes for people in South Africa. You didn't vote for the president. The parliament does that. That's not a presidential republic system. That's a parliamentary system. And you have a mixture of parliamentary procedures into a veneer of federalism, which really doesn't exist. And as a consequence, you have a very psychotic and dysfunctional government where some moron can extract demands in a city council and cause the city's council to collapse by having a parliamentary vote of no confidence. We don't have votes of no confidence in mayors in New York. We don't have that in the States. It's not possible. If someone commits a crime, there are mechanisms to get rid of someone who's serving government, but you don't have no confidence votes. That's just silly. That's European garbage. You put that in your system, and it's corrupted South Africa's politics in so many ways. Leslie Wust, welcome to you. Herman Loh. Yolanda van Rensburg. Okay. Don Juan just subscribed. Ooh, a sexy fellow there. Welcome to you, Don Juan. Sandri Makraf, good to see you again there. Link is on Willem Petzer group. I'm not on any Willem Petzer group. So I guess I'll not be able to find that. Thank you. And when you say group, is that a WhatsApp group? Is it a Telegram group? Is it a Signal group? Stefan the Whistleblower. If Trump was president 20 years ago, I might not have moved to New Zealand. Yeah, you're right about that, Stefan. But if Trump was president 20 years ago, we wouldn't be where we're at now. It would have been a very different world. 20 years ago, it would have been 2005, and he would have taken us out of Iraq. We would have been out of there. And so the world probably wouldn't have got as bad a shape as it was. We never would have had the wokeism of Obama. Nice and cool for a change in Rustenburg. Ah, Rustenburg, the Waterfalls Mall. That's where I got this at. Now, the signatures weren't from there. That signature's from Nasbota in Bloemfontein. And that is from Joel Stransky in Joburg. But the rugby ball came from the Sportsman's Warehouse there at the Waterfalls Mall, just adjacent to it, in Rustenburg. Mr. Sight, Australia's major culprit, how many people went there? Oh, is that the point? The point, blaming America, and so you won't come to America because of what people 40 years ago did? I'm not sure what the point is there. So should people not move to South Africa because it was once ruled by racists who created fake homelands? I mean, come on, let's be silly. That's silly. The world is a different world than it was 40 years ago. That's like the people who hang on to their bitter hatred of Henry Kissinger, blaming him for not winning in Angola. You didn't win Angola because your government wussed out. You were in the gates of Luanda in 1975. You could have stopped the whole thing from happening. I'm not saying what would have come after that, but the MPLA would have been wiped out, completely destroyed by the South African Defense Force. They chose to come back. And they always blame it on Henry Kissinger and on pressure, but no one's ever proven any of that. Ever. Ever. All right. So we're about 40 minutes away from our coverage of the events. Every forum needs to wait for the storm to pass before they come back on social media. I agree. Canadian sister said, I should stop talking about this crisis. No negativity in the dojo. Blinders must remain on. Easy to say when you have backup passport, but I don't want to judge. Yeah, well, you must decide what's important for you and how you're going to handle it. So it's not up to other people. Okay. If you're an Ants Reds fan, go watch his recent podcast with Ricky Altman talking Can Bitcoin Save Us? Okay, well, I'm not a Bitcoin fan, but Rob goes in every show he can find and promises each host he will get them other guests. Yeah, he does that, Arctic. That's why I said, dare I say that we're friends or just colleagues? I don't know. Nice guy. We're in touch. We chat. But yeah, Rob promised that you all heard on here. He promised to get me Gate McKenzie as a guest. I've not asked. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I'm not going to push for it. Okay. Top of the morning, Talon Bezuidenhout, the map behind you. Is that standard format for the U.S., or do you have the Americas in the middle, like Africa is in the middle of ours? That's a standard map that we typically have here in the United States. I get a lot of grief from people in New Zealand because they whine and piss and moan that that's not a real map. There's no New Zealand on there. Well, there's no Easter Island on there, is there? Can't see it. That's because it's got, for an artistic effect, they sprayed black paint on the canvas on the edges as if you're looking through a dirty window onto, that's what it looks like. New Zealand's actually on the map. It was painted on there, but the black paint covers it up, and I can show you where it's at. Yeah, it's actually on the map. It's just covered over. So, but a lot of Kiwis, when I do rugby, come on and piss them on. Oh, that's not a real map. You don't even know where New Zealand is. Trust me, I know where New Zealand is. I can find Mr. Ed, Jacinda Ardern in a heartbeat. Just listen to her talk. Jacinda Ardern. A horse is a horse, of course. Less a horse. Less, of course, the horse, the famous Mr. Ed. Zane DeVille, welcome to you. Utingo 2, no more BE. We need Trump to help us. Well, I've been telling you for years that Trump wouldn't help you. That was in the first term. Now, it's the second term. Things are very different in this term. This is not the same Trump that the world saw before. So anything is possible now. Well, South Africans really need to help themselves, whatever method that is. But it looks like Trump is having an impact here. 220 people currently here at this hour, 103 likes. Not even half the people here have pushed the like button. And we've actually had 493 show up, so it's only a quarter. 20%. Gosh bless it, there's something in my throat. Ilza said, my father grew up in a shack, had to fetch water from a river by foot. So I'm wondering what white privilege. I'm with you, Ilza. I'm with you. I lived in public housing, for the poor when I was a kid at times. Yep. Rebecca Fundevelt, welcome to you. Dick Brower, did I miss your membership? My apologies. Dick Bauer. Okay. There's a $500 billion federal investment. Maybe you can become part of that flourishing industry. AEI? Is that what you wrote? What kind of character did you put in there? AEI? What the hell is that? It looks like freaking, a Swedish character. There are videos of Joe Biden advocating for apartheid end. There's no surprise to give ANC more power during his presidency. It's ending now. Yep. You can't blame the USA for South Africa 94 if you don't also blame the Nets. Exactly, Arnick. You still can't blame us even if you do blame the Nets. My belief is that the apartheid system was simply unsustainable. Exactly. And that's why they quit. It was a matter of demographics. It was a matter of cost. It was also, there were some factors, some morality in there that people just realized. Nicola Brown, welcome to you. Yeah. If that, I almost thought, I looked up, almost thought that said Nicole Brown Simpson. I was like, whoa, that's be creepy. Welcome, Nicola. Yeah. Speaking the truth here, that would be called being racist. Man, I miss freedom. Hermann Janssen von Einsborg. Petzer's like a million groups. Okay, exaggerate, but WhatsApp, Facebook. Yeah, so I really don't know where. I don't care's back. Mr. B spoke to you last night. Are you seriously? Wow, that's pretty cool. Did you mention me? It's all about me. No. Well, congratulations. People love Mr. Beast. I'm not really impressed or excited by him. I think he's okay, but there are a lot of dark clouds following Mr. Beast around, and his popularity is plummeting right now. But he's still more popular than virtually anybody. So, yeah. Congratulations. What did he speak to you about? I don't care. People who say they're happy here no matter the race really don't know any better. That's true. Victims of domestic abuse, battered spouses don't know any better and stay until they're beaten to death. Lion Stringer, good morning from Belito. And Blair Douglas, good morning, Chris. Welcome to you. If you were to become president of South Africa, what would you do and implement immediately? Oh, gosh, that's a question I've answered many times, even when I wasn't asked the question. The first thing I would do immediately is broad-based black economic empowerment would be gone. Be gone. That'd be the first thing, instantly, completely disappeared. The racialization, all the racial laws would be stripped. Then I would begin implementing a program of ombudsmen and inspector generals in all branches of government and government agencies and go from there. We'll start from there. The next step would be to a real serious white paper, give 6 months to come up with this white paper, appointing international and South African genuine experts in education. Bella would be scrapped, it would be thrown out, and I would come back with a white paper that would allow us to look at what resources are available, where the money's being spent, where the need is, and balance out the spending, public spending on education to improve education. The 30% scores would be gone instantly. We're not going to go today it's 30%, it's unfair, tomorrow it's 40%. No, today it's 30%, tomorrow it's 70%. If you don't reach 70%, you don't pass. You stay in school and you learn. Or you leave school and you go dig ditches. Take your choice. I would implement that immediately. This substandard nonsense, intentionally dumbing down the population of South Africa, is a moral crisis. It is a unbelievably sad human rights violation, denying people proper education and pretending that you've educated them because they're too stupid to realize that they're dumb and not able to think or communicate effectively, because you've dumbed the standards down and you've patted them on the head and told them they're good little boys and girls, and they've done so well, getting 42% in algebra. No, it doesn't work like that. So Bella's gone. The educational standards are beefed up, and then we start tackling the criminal justice system. Yeah, that's what happened. The expropriation compensation would be removed. I would have a new land audit survey undertaken to find out who really owns land. An objective one with outside experts involved, not just South Africans, to look at what's really happening with the land in South Africa, who truly owns it. And then we'll have a frank, open discussion. We'll have a series of public forums on land, and we will go into successes and failures of the land transformation program and talk about land. This is what I would do. That's a start. All of that. Does that make sense? Blew up in the homeland with Gazinkula near Palabora. Okay. How do you keep your memory so sharp? Very impressed. Well, Rebecca, I have to be honest with you there. I was getting a little bit concerned about my memory and about what was going on here. And I don't know if I had a little bug that was bothering me or something, but just a few months ago, I had a very hard time. Some of my viewers will notice this. I had a very hard time for a period of about 2 or 3 months remembering names. of course, I knew events and I knew historical events, but like celebrities' names, I couldn't think of celebrities' names. Like, who's that? And it's still kind of cropping around a little bit. So I don't know what that is. If that's age or if that's maybe I need to take Prevagen, start eating some shrimp shells or something like that. But yeah, no, it's this has always been my greatest concern is that as you age, dementia, Alzheimer's, things like that, that's who you are. And what a tragedy to see someone lose that and not know who they are and suffer later in life. That's really, they become a husk, a shell of who they are. I would hope that we advance to where we can figure out what those issues are. But honestly, in some respects, I think my brain gets sharper as I get older, the more exercise, like Trump. Anyway, so I just, I take what I do seriously, and if you do it frequently, it just comes to you, And we keep dwelling in the past, it'll never change. I wonder if Rob's love for Zionist Conferencenti, Gangstergate, continued after Gangstergate came out in defense of his criminal syndicate mates. Andrea, gee, why don't you tell us how you feel? Funny, Bosov. I still believe most Afrikaners will take the refugee offer. I don't. 2.8 million people are going to leave South Africa? No, I don't think so. We'll see. Hope it's not going to lead canceling refugee offer. I wouldn't worry about that, Funny. Again, every colored, every Indian, every white, not just Afrikaner in South Africa could leave en masse, come to America, and the 13 to 15 million people that come here is a drop in a bucket. We are kicking 30 million criminals out of the country now. So there's plenty of space for you. All right, so you guys can have that feeling, but it's not founded in anything. It's if you want to live in a world of fear based on a lack of information on your presumptions, I can't help you with that. I appreciate where you're coming from. I really can't help you. Just tell you that we don't know. Let's wait and see. Wait for straight talk and facts. There you go. Vanna Heinisch von Schoenbeck liked the video. Thank you very much. There's a tiny thumbs up icon at the bottom. Exactly. Even if Trump does nothing else, at least he's pissed off the ANC. Exactly. If Trump does nothing else, and if this program never comes to fruition, which would irritate a lot of people, Donald Trump has ripped the plaster off the festering wound that is the ANC governance in South Africa. This plaster's been on there for 30 years, and no one said anything. The world has looked the other way as the pus built up in here, and now the boil was ready to burst. Donald Trump ripped the plaster off. Notice how I use Anglo terms. This is a Band-Aid, not a plaster. But they ripped the plaster off, and now the pus is oozing out for all the world to see what a slimy, disgusting mess that has occurred in South Africa. Jacques says 800 soldiers. Yep, another 800. So that's 1,600 have gone there now. Interesting. Mr. B said hello to me yesterday. Well, I see that. I don't care. Is that it? Anything else? Yakub, many South Africans seem to suffer from avoiding negative information syndrome. They don't want to deal with this. Ignorance is bliss. That's why we get slapped left and right and center. Okay. Let me jump ahead here. Kevin Storm, morning from South End, Port Elizabeth. Need you to fix more potholes. Kevin, did you see the photo of me fixing the potholes? Nobody was eating the dogs or cats, but I was fixing the potholes with the Democratic Alliance. For those who think that I hate the Democratic Alliance, I was out fixing potholes with the Democratic Alliance that morning. Yeah, have a proper education system would imply that people might start using critical thinking. I know, Holden. What a danger that would be, wouldn't it? Running, exercise. Yeah, you need to do that. I haven't done that, and that's not good. Not lately. I believe the vast minority would leave, says Patrick. Besides, there are no celebrities anymore. Politicians are the new celebrities. Sad but true. Alan Gill, good evening. They couldn't even get the last census correct. How are they going to get the land ownership correct? Is that just a random question, or are you responding to what my approach would be? I said my approach. There's no they. In my approach, the ANC isn't a majority in Parliament. I was asked if I was president for, what would I do? I was answering that. So I'm not sure if you're responding to that. Yokanan Shanot, good morning to you. Pam Trotsky, says thanks. You're welcome. Okay, South Africa is the S in BRICS. If the armors go, how long will that last? See a third. Well, it's not even an S, Don Juan. Stop giving it attention. South Africa barely makes up a fraction. You know that before the accession of the new members like Saudi Arabia and others who came into BRICS last year, China was 85% of the entire gross domestic product, or gross national product of the entire BRICS. China, one country, not Russia, not Brazil, certainly not India or China, or South Africa, excuse me. Now with the other members in, China's percentage has dropped to 70%, but still $7 out of every $10 is from China. It's a joke. There is no BRICS. It's a fantasy. It's a self-pleasuring, whining, Kaffeeklatsch to bitch about the developed world by countries that are full of autocrats and totalitarian fascists. I mean, look what we're talking about. China, run by communist fascists with a president for life who doesn't even stand for election. Tlolitso Umputi, thank you for your subscription. That's China. Look at Russia, a fascist autocrat who invades his neighbors and bullies his neighbors. Yeah, not exactly a free society. Look at Brazil, a communist fascist who was in prison for his corruption and now is president after a stolen election, and he's trying to imprison his predecessor. Yeah, that's a fascist state too. So there's 3 of your bricks. India, the world's largest democracy with lots of problems and only a fraction of the size of China. India's total GDP, the largest country in the world, is less than $4 trillion a year. Less than $4 trillion a year, ladies and gentlemen. 1.6 billion people, $4 trillion a year. China, with 1.5 billion people, has $19 trillion a year. 5 times India's GDP. In South Africa, woo, depending on who you listen to, $280 billion to $400 billion a year. Microsoft, Walmart makes more money than that. There's a clip on Facebook about an old soldier that works with refugees from Angola. Said he got, okay. I don't care says, I put my something up for sale, special offer giveaway. I hope you're not putting something for sale based on the fact that you want to jump in the refugee program, because you don't know what that is. I caution anybody to be very careful there. I mean, you're playing the lottery there. You might as well go to Gold Reef City and put your money into the one-armed bandits, because you're wasting it. Antidote said a few minutes ago, if you take a cultural community off the land, their culture dies. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of self-evident, isn't it? Anton Feldsman, morning to all. Okay, Portugal people from Angola, Portuguese people. Okay. Anton says, "You're very welcome. Thank you for the subscription. Appreciate being here." Walked in a gun shop in a blue state and asked, "Can I buy a gun?" while on a work visa, and was told, "Sure, just complete this form, and as soon as it's approved, I can go buy what you want." Exactly. That's a blue state where they hate guns. This is America, man. I tell you what. If we had a braai at my house and some shit went down, we could form a commando right here from my house. The only thing I'm missing is horses. Don't worry. I can invite a few dozen of my friends over and we could form a commando right here in my house in the middle of a braai. No need to run back home and get your powder, get your horn, and get your saddlebags. We could form a commando right here. Welcome to America. Yeah, wokeness in Portugal is going exponential. Uncharted Adventure says, good morning. I think South Africa's biggest problem concerning the government, apart from the obvious, South Africans are stupidly tolerant of bullshit. Well, Africans in general are stupidly tolerant of bullshit. Could you give a little more detail on how living expenses will be given to South Africans until they find a job? Who pays for the trip over? I can't Bitcoin vote because, as I said, those standards are not established yet. We have people in South Africa telling you that you won't be able to do it. It'll cost you a fortune. You have to pay your plane ticket. They don't know that. I don't know that either. I mean, as I said, the one thing I can't confirm to you is under the refugee resettlement program, the Afghans who came over here, we put them on C-17s and flew them here. They didn't pay anything for that flight. And they were given financial assistance, they were given a stipend. I don't know what you'll get for a stipend or where you get the stipend. And if they put you in New York City, your money's not going to go very far. If they put you in Peoria, Illinois, your money will go far. If they put you in Charleston, West Virginia, your money will go very far. So I don't have answers on that, and I couldn't possibly answer Bitcoin vote, and I'm not into giving people things that will give them false hope or people can use to make lying claims about me, saying I said this, that, the other. So I'm sorry, but you're just going to be patient. I am not in the State Department. I'm not in the Trump administration, much to the detriment of the Trump administration. If they had me there, they'd be giving good advice, and they wouldn't have issued a statement saying Afrikaners without defining what an Afrikaner is. They would not have put so much focus on something and talking about land when they should have been talking about property theft and property expropriation and how it would affect all South Africans. That would have been my advice if I had Trump's ear and if I was around to people writing this. But I'm not in their orbit, and people don't know me. And at some point, you have to wonder if that's intentional, because I am known. I'm not exactly unknown in America. I am known by some media outlets and also some powerful people in the country. But anyway, this is an administration that seems obsessed with 18-year-olds in it, and then their favorite friends in the glitterati. So anyway, that's whatever. But I can't answer that. I can't force the embassy to get off their ass and do something. I can't force the State Department. They are moving at a glacial pace, and it's causing all kinds of speculation. I'm not going to speculate because I don't know. And I could tell you that, okay, the refugees came here from the Congo and they got $9,000 a month. Okay, maybe that's true, but that may not be true for people coming out of this program. But I would expect, if you're asking me to dream, I would expect the following. Because the way the program is set up to help people escape persecution or their life being in peril, that more than likely the United States would pay for transport, and that you would be here, you would be given resettlement by Homeland Security. They would put you in temporary accommodations, which they pay for, and to help you find more permanent accommodations, and there's a stipend that comes along with it. You get job assistance for job placement and such like that. They probably also, I don't know this, but they probably also have services to help you navigate whichever state you're in, how to get a driver's license, how to get certification for your qualifications, things like that. But I can't say that unequivocally because I'm not a refugee. I've never participated in the program. And every aspect of the program could be different for every group coming from different countries. So people just need to be calm. I don't know why people expect, and this is not directed at you, Bitcoin Boat, but I don't know why people expect that all the answers are there. Especially these lying shitheads in South Africa who go onto television and claim to be lawyers going, well, it'll take months. You don't know what you're talking about. It won't take months. It's a refugee program. Do you think we sit around and watch people get slaughtered? We take them out of war zones instantaneously. We took 160,000 Afghans, 140,000 have no business being here. We took them out, loaded them on C-17s, didn't even check documentation, loaded their asses up and flew them around the world, dumped them here in America. I see them all the time around here. Yeah, and no business being here. Modi is a strange character. I don't know that he supports Putin. I don't think Russia and India will leave BRICS. Peter Oberholzer, 100% losing a $50,000 property if I take the refugee initiative. Will the Western Cape be more resilient against expropriation? No, because expropriation is the national authorities, the provincial authorities, and the municipal authorities. In the Western Cape, the national authorities are the ANC. In the Western Cape, the provincial authorities is the DA. In the Western Cape, depending on municipality, it is the DA. Sometimes it's other folks. So, yeah, it's not going to be any more resistant. Flip side for South Africa should be they make 180 is a wealth input. What? I have no idea what you're saying. Good morning. Alma Fundamental, good morning. It's now 6:35. I hope you're all well. Don't forget some rest. Alma, I could use some rest. I'm not going to get it tonight because in 20 minutes we're going live to start doing coverage of the rally. Now, the rally doesn't start until 8 a.m., but it'll be 7 a.m., and I'll just give some background, talk about what's going on, give you a little history, tell you a little about the place where it's taking place, and talk about a few other things. But yeah, I haven't even got around to my news about the fine that I got. I'm going to get to that here shortly. And then I'll be on there probably, I guess, for at least 2 hours. That'll take me to 2 o'clock in the morning at least, and at 7 o'clock I'm doing the rugby. I haven't even got my lineups downloaded yet. I meant to do that before this broadcast, but I was busy doing something else. All right. Yeah, family for living expenses vary drastically from city to city, state to state. Yeah, it also depends on just how unreasonable you are with your life. I mean, a lot of South Africans are very unreasonable. They expect to have domestic help. You're living in another world. You expect domestic help here. Lucky for me, after my divorce, I don't own anything. I can pack my clothes in a bag and go, Texas says. Okay. I'll need to sell everything just to move my dogs. Will get harder to do the longer wait. Gulf of America. Colonel has a very stable home heating cooling system, but clock sticks to 20 degrees always. That's because that's the temperature in here. In small towns, you can live comfortably off 80,000 a month. You mean 80,000 rand? You put $sign, Arctic. You can live anywhere in America, even Manhattan, for $80,000 a month. $80,000 a month. It's $960,000 a year. Even Manhattan, that's a comfortable life. I think you meant to say Rand. In the South African government, would you put any of those leaders in jail? Yes, I would. If I were in charge of South Africa, Paul Mashatile, Zweli Mkhize, Ace Magashule, Cyril Ramaphosa, Fikile Mabulula, Zandile Gumeda, and a whole host of others would be in the docket and be charged. And not to mention those in charge of the criminal intelligence, the police intelligence, the intelligence and the police responsible for the July 2021 insurrection. All these people would be open for scrutiny. Why does my shirt look so crooked here? There we go. All right, so anyway. All right, 80,000. Yeah, exactly. I think he meant to say another figure there. Why can't Americans readily purchase a 20 millimeter varmint rifle? 20 millimeter, that's a big round. I'm not sure what you're talking about there, Holden. Send me to Aspen or Breckenridge. Oh, okay. I know you're joking because that's an incredibly expensive place. Aspen has tiny little 2-bedroom houses cost over $1 million there. What about the third wave BE? Minorities won't be able to own their own businesses outright, family-owned business, normal business, all types. Mary, I don't know what to tell you about that. You're watching some videos that someone put on YouTube about the third wave. No one's. That's not a piece of legislation. The third wave of BE. That's something that started going around this week to fearmonger for people. Yeah, there's lots of problems, but I've not watched the video that someone put out on that. So, Jan, welcome to you. Matt Canale here in Colorado. It is extremely expensive and liberal. Avoid. Correct, Matt. Matt and I linked up in Chicago at the Hounds game. That was pretty cool. I was unexpected. I didn't know that. I was out there covering as a journalist for Major League Rugby, and there was Matt. That was so cool. Or did we talk about meeting there? I can't remember. Raina, but we did meet there. Raina Fletch, good morning. Saw an interesting video on Biz News yesterday. If the government expropriates a person's home and they're still paying a home loan, they're still liable. Of course, Raina. You need a Biz News to tell you that? Just ask me. Just because the government steals your land doesn't absolve you of the debt. You made the loan. If you get in a poker game and bet the title to your car to someone and they get the title, it doesn't free you from the loan. You still got to pay it back. I know that sounds crazy and it sounds unfair, but life's tough. Yeah, no, that's why this is so immoral. The government takes your land and leaves you buried in debt. But it's fair because historical injustices for people today who weren't alive when the historical injustice occurred and they're not suffering. But no. People are poor in South Africa because of apartheid, because of Jan van Riebeck. Bullshit. People are poor in South Africa because of the ANC. And it's broken macroeconomic policies, it's racist legislation, destroying the economy from within. It's dumbed down education standards. It's graft, it's corruption, it's theft, it's negligence of the infrastructure, and it's idiotic approach to governance. That's why people are poor in South Africa. I could have made South Africa a thriving, wealthy, prosperous, giant colossus of an African country right now, one that mattered on the world stage, one that when it spoke with moral indignation would carry weight, instead of a country that promotes terrorists and murderers of innocent people. And cries, we are the moral compass of the world. No, you're not. You're not. No, you never were. Just a bunch of lies a bunch of white Western liberals fell for. As firearms goes, it's classified as a destructive device under federal law, so highly regulated. Only seen 2 20-meter rifles, shot one in real life. Hey, Dan. Dan is a cowboy action shooter, so you want to talk about firearms, Dan's the guy to talk to. Now, if you want to form a commando, we could probably go to Dan's house. We can form a couple commandos. And he'd probably have the horses, too. So, and we go out to Dan's place in Wyoming. We have the horse, we'd have the firearms, we'd have the prairie. We'd be ready. Yeah, that's why I said our 20-millimeter round is huge, man. A 20-millimeter round, you're joking, Holden. A 20-millimeter round would blow a groundhog into smithereens. There he is, Tolotsi Mluto. Thank you for hosting Reverend Kenneth Mishwe some time ago. Quick question. Don't you think there's an element of control and tyranny when it comes to load shedding? Did I actually... I mean, he's like, M-O... Yeah, there it was. Yeah, that was May 15th last year. Yeah, Dr. Kenneth Mishwe. Yeah, I forgot that I had him on. Gosh, you know, I for some reason, that was a lovely conversation, too. I remember his wife passed away. Yeah, it was my pleasure. Thank you for joining me. There is an element. This is what this is all about. Tolozio, you're spot on, 100% correct. This is not about righting historical injustices, fixing the wrongs about it. It's not about that. That's a lie. That's a lie. The resources are there. There's no need for expropriation without compensation. Section 25 of the South African Constitution allows for expropriation with compensation. And it works. As far as taking the land, the South African government has purchased 3.9 million hectares of land since 1994. Oh, by the way, they can't account for land. You know the land is still registered to the apartheid government and to the Bantustans? Did you know that? And the ANC's argument is it takes time. It takes 31 years to effect the transfer properly. Yeah, this is all crap. No, there's no... It's all about control. It's all about control and governing in perpetuity. That's what it's about, folks. And that's what I've been telling people. That's why people need to quit focusing on the land. And Trump's the same way. And Solidarity and AfriForum and anyone who's talking about the land, stop focusing on land. That's a small effect here. And it's not about farming. It's about property. And it's about controlling people. I have been telling you all along, and now some other people are starting to say that, so it's encouraging, but they don't attribute it to me, so I guess they thought it came on their own. But I've been telling you from very outset, this is about a tool of oppression. A tool of oppression. It's like when I spoke to David Ansari the other day, very smart guy from the Free Market Foundation. I had him on the program, and I talked about what people are missing in this executive order is they're moaning about the Afrikaner, they're moaning about this, they're moaning about that, but they're ignoring the fact that the United States clearly said, President Trump, in that executive order, that this is because of the actions taken against U.S. interests, particularly with Israel and Hamas. And then they go on to state the scary part, which no one's highlighting. The reason Trump took this action, forget the farmers, forget the white South Africans, forget the Afrikaners. Iran. The ANC is reinvigorating its ties to the terror state sponsor of Iran in commercial, military, and nuclear arrangements. Nuclear power. The South African government is coordinating nuclear technology and support to the Iranian fascist mullah theocratic terror state. Nobody's paying attention. Hi, Kutsia asked a very good question. A lot of people are saying, he says, I'm 64, wife is 60. Usually people say they won't want me. Well, why would I, or can I come? Age doesn't matter. But making the move successfully, that depends what kind of people you are. All right. I mean, I spent 36 and a half years in the Army, 34 in active duty, and I moved 26 times. 26 times. And it wasn't like, you guys, if you come here, you're moving once to America. I moved 26 times, lived in 16 countries, sometimes living in a place for only a year or less in 36 years. It's not easy moving that often. But I've been here now for a strangely long period of time, longest I've lived anywhere in my life. And I was in my basement a night before last when I was getting all those mementos out to bring up and show, or it was last night. And I thought to myself, oh, man, I'm so glad I don't have to move anymore. I can't answer that question for you. That's Haikutsia. That depends what kind of people you are. If you get along with people, if you're not introverts, if you're willing to go out and you're willing to experiment and willing to discover and you're willing to put up with things that are a little frustrating because they're different than the way you experience them, you'll do very well, But some people are just stubborn and they don't fit in and they never adjust. And so, I really can't answer for you. But it shouldn't be a hard adjustment for you. This is a very welcoming, open society. Wonderful place, a safe place, a beautiful place, a massive country with tons of resources, the best place in the world. I mean, it is. Am I biased? Damn right. Good reason. 14 states filed lawsuits against Trump and Musk, arguing the authority issued Elon by Doe's White House unconstitutional. That lawsuit will go nowhere. A corrupt judge will tell them to stop, and it'll be overturned. They're desperate. They're desperate. I'll commit my 50,000 property to God's hands and move forward. You can raise 50,000 US eventually with enough elbow grease. Okay. Kioma, good morning. Won't mention the name, but in a trans guy in 2016, a black guy built a holiday spot, threw in over $1 million, 10 years, expropriated by the headman. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I know. It's about power. Johan van Wyk, good morning. I would like to know, should we move to USA? Will our children be accepted socially? How does the Americans feel about the refugee program? Love your videos. Well, thank you, Johan van Wyk. Should, you're using the conditional. You're not suggesting, you're saying that's an if. If we move to the USA, will our children be accepted socially? Why would they? Why wouldn't it be accepted socially in this country? I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing because, you go to a school, it's full of immigrants, legal and otherwise, and, they'll be accepted. Why wouldn't they be accepted unless they're troublemakers? I'm not laughing at your question. I'm just, for me, it's just, it's something that's a no-brainer. But then I'm not the one doing it. How do the Americans feel about the refugee program? They don't give a flying flip because they don't know about it and they don't care. So today's rally, which we'll start covering in about 10 minutes, no one gives a flying shit about that in America. Nobody. Americans don't know. I was out in town yesterday. Nobody even knows anything about South. Nobody cares. It doesn't affect their lives. What do they care? The occasional person cares about it. Some of my viewers care about it because of slight interest in it, but they don't care. The Americans are upset about illegal aliens. Americans don't dislike legal immigrants and people who come here as immigrants, or those who come in the refugee program legitimately, and even legitimate asylum seekers. But we've had our systems used fraudulently by the Biden administration and by the Obama administration to flood this country with foreign nationals in an effort to skew the racial dynamics. That was their intent. This country was 89% white in 1960. 89% white. Today, it's 75% white. And if you take out the Hispanics who are white, it's closer to 64%. Although they'll tell you whites are not a majority anymore. That's a lie. But bear in mind, we have 330 million people, at least in this country. Back in 1960, we have about 160 million people. So of 160 million people, about 120 million of them were white. Today, there's 230 million whites. So it's almost twice as many whites in this country as there were back then. But the percentage is greatly diminished. And that's why they flooded this country with people of color, because they are bigots and racists, and they think that that changes things. It doesn't. You notice America, they talk about America being systemic racist and this and that, and all you hear about black this and black that. What is the percentage of the population that's black in America? Can somebody answer that? What is the percentage of America's population that's black? Anybody? 40%? 35%? 30%? What percentage of America is black? I'm talking about those who are mixed race, black men, white women, white men, black women, knocking boots and popping babies out. That counts too. Must paint tanks red or yellow because of camo paint. Yeah. Mom turned 76 last month. She wants to go. She says nothing keeping her here anymore. Hey, Blair. Anton Feldman. Many South Africans have not read the bill. Property can be cars, shares, and pensions. I know. No, you're not wrong. No. I've been telling people that all along. And I tell you all along. Section 25 of the Constitution says that property is not limited to land. No. That's what this is about. They are going to take your pensions. And they might take them all, but they can do that now. So if the ANC is short money to stuff in their pockets to, fuel their big luxury homes in the Western Cape in Constantia, or to buy their big mansions in Sandown or in Sandton in Johannesburg, they'll simply say, well, we have to fill the Black Empowerment Fund. 3% we're stealing from the corporations is enough for that 100 billion rand. We need a little bit more. So we're going to take 10% of all existing pension funds this year. And then they'll put a bunch of money in their pocket. It's in the public interest. We need it to build schools, to build clinics. Except that last year, the government built one school. 10 years ago, the ANC government built 100 schools in 1 year. Most Americans friendly, especially in smaller towns. 12%, 12%, 7%, 13%, 13%. It's 11%. 11%. It used to be 13%, but because of all the massive influx of immigrants, that number has changed. Only 11% of the population is black. You'd think this country was entirely black. You guys are better informed, probably because you watch my show, than many Americans are. Blair, you'll be astounded by my life expecting you to say, flew twin sisters 92 to Florida last week, asked them how they celebrate, and they told me they go to the beach with a bottle of tequila. At 92 years of age, yep. Nick, it's 11%. And people talk a lot. What is that? Where'd it go? Come back. People talk a lot of race stuff. Say, no, they don't, Boom. No, only racists, race hustlers, the media, and social media. No, most people don't. Just won't target pensions. But no, I didn't say they're only going to target pensions. I was giving an example. And Arctic says, no, they don't. Arctic has been all over this country. Arctic, since he came here and flies around, he goes all over the country. He goes to red states, he goes to blue states, he goes to major metropolitan areas, he goes to minor municipal airports all over the country, and he meets people, and he can give you some fair feedback on what it's like. And Dan Bailey lives in Wyoming. Completely agree that something needs to go away. Okay. Ilza, I had to explain to my ex-husband last night what is actually happening at the moment. Some people are still blind and deaf. Yep. Joseph Hayes, most pension funds are bankrupt already. I was unaware of that. Zane DeVille's now asking Arctic for what research was success. You can start by going to the CIA fact book, doing a Google search United States of America, click even on the Wikipedia page and start learning about America. Then you can go to each state. Every state has brochures on their states. They have state websites for gathering information on a farm. Okay. All right. So how are we doing over here? What are we up to? We're up to 358 people currently, 228 likes. Okay, now I'm going to tell you about something that happened to me yesterday, folks, before we switch over to the other stream. I didn't get to any of the news. I had news here all set up, and I didn't get to it, so I'll save it for tomorrow, I guess, the news. All right. Junsi Lawrence, welcome to you. Okay. So last year, some of you know I ran for state legislature. And this is one of my campaign buttons, Chris Wyatt for the 92nd District of Pennsylvania. So I ran for state legislator. Okay, I ran not because I wanted it, not because I needed it, but because I was concerned about my country. And so I thought I could affect change because the incumbent wasn't running. And the best time to run a political race is when the incumbent isn't running. So I filed to run, and people offered to donate money. And I said, no, please don't donate money. There's 5 candidates in the race for the primary to select the candidate for the Republican Party for the general election in November. And I'm not well known here. I don't want you to donate money, and if I don't win, I don't want you to have buyer's remorse. So I just ask you, vote for me and tell other people about me, and that'd be great. So I didn't take any money. So I spent a lot of money, my savings, my life savings, to run for office. And you have to file campaign finance reports. So I filed my campaign finance report. Since I didn't win the primary in April, I filed my final report in May. But the website, when I clicked to close it out, to close my campaign, because that would be the last report, it wouldn't let me do it because I had a negative balance. See, people who take donations, you can't finish with negative balance in Pennsylvania. You have to have an even amount. So you've got to have more money. You can't have spent more money than you took in, because that means there's maybe money laundering going on. Where's the money going? But I didn't take any money and I didn't take any donations. I'm a self-funded candidate, so I can have a negative balance. But their website isn't set up to recognize negative balances. So I had a negative balance of thousands of dollars in that last report. Well, you can have a negative balance up until the end, but it wouldn't let me close it out. So I sent them an email and said, hey, I can't close this. I can't finish my campaign. They never responded. Good to go. In November, December, I started getting phone calls, and I called back. I didn't know who to talk to. It just said the state, so I didn't know what it was. And eventually I got an email in December saying that I hadn't filed my report. I need to file it or I'll be facing a fine. So I called them back, and they explained you had to go in. So I went back in, and I couldn't do it again. So I sent them an email. They didn't respond back. In January, I spoke to them on the phone because they sent me another email, and the lady said, yeah, you got to go back and close it. So I went back, and it wouldn't close. Anyway, I received this letter in the mail. Oh, not in the mail, but in email. This letter from the Pennsylvania elections folks telling me that I'm fined for not filing my final report. Office of the Secretary of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Annual campaign finance report, deadline January 31st, 2025. Understand that I stopped running in April of 2024, nearly a year ago. Late filing fee, $150. In accordance with the Pennsylvania Election Code, you were required to follow the above report by the filing deadline listed. I filed it on May 22nd of 2024. To date, we have not received the report. Untrue. You will be responsible for a late filing fee that will continue to accrue a maximum of $250 until the report is received in this office. To be in compliance and to stop the late penalty accrual, please submit your report immediately. Late filing fee posted above is only as of the date of this letter. Please do not issue a check in this amount without speaking to a member or staff. So today I had to call them up and explain to them again. So we went through it online, and the lady told me to pull up your report that you filed on May 22nd, click on amend. Now pull up the PDF Acrobat file. All right, send us that report. It's going to say incomplete. Print the first page, sign it, check the box. It wouldn't let me check the box online. It wouldn't create it with the close. It said it's still open. Scratch it out, click on it, initial it, sign at the bottom, then fill out a unsworn statement, fill that out, which I'd done previously, and send them to us. So I wasted an hour and a half of my time today that I didn't get paid for taking care of something because a state automation system doesn't work. This is why good people don't run for office. There's no point, Holden. There's nothing malicious going on here. It's just automatic. They just did it. So it should be taken care of now. But I'm not paying the fine. I'll be a South African. I just refuse to pay it. Everyone here moved to Pennsylvania to vote for Chris. Imagine being so South Africans. I'd be governor. If you guys came here, I could be the governor. As I said, if you never went to the U.S. for a fair amount of time, it's not easy. People relax and see what is going to happen. Believe me, you really miss home, so calm down a bit. Well, I don't know what to tell you there, South African with a phone. I've lived all over the world. Missing home. Buckle up. Suck it up, buttercup. You know, life's a bitch. You know, you can live in misery and be stabbed and raped and carjacked. You can fight back and stop that and go to prison for defending yourself. Or you can live behind big walls, or you can live in Montana. Take your choice in life. Live where you want to live. Do what you want to do. Just don't treat people poorly. That's my book on it. But yeah, your point's valid. And a lot of people are thinking this is an immigration program. It's not immigration. They can come here and they can just freely go back. And other people think it's all handouts. They're going to give me this, going to give me that. If that's your motivation, if your motivation to come here is because you just want a job, or you just want to get out of South Africa, or you expect handouts, then you're in the wrong business. The refugee program is for people whose life is in danger, who are being persecuted, who are generally being persecuted or fear persecution. Now, many people here in this chat session that applies to. If that's your motivation and that's what's driving you, then you won't care about missing home. You won't care about no Doorvos. You won't care about Biltong. You won't care about Kruger National Park. You won't care about domestic servants. All you'll care about is getting out safely and going someplace where you're safe and you have a chance to build a new life. That's what refugees are for. Now, in the normal world, refugees are supposed to return home when the peril is gone. When the peril is gone. But no one ever goes home. They never go home. You're very resilient. If you're down and out and with nothing to lose, you'll make it work anywhere. Exactly. I have family in Texas and friends in Nashville. They tried Australia and New Zealand. They said they were happiest in USA. Moral values line better in USA. Yep. What's the most liberal state in USA? I want to shield for pet. Well, California is probably, or Massachusetts. No, I talk about people who don't know the U.S., Chris. They have no idea what it's like. I'm trying to make them understand. No, it's fine, South African with a phone, and I wasn't abused what you're saying. I'm just saying that, people, look, unless you've been to America for an extended period of time, which is your point, you really don't understand it. Yeah. If you have nothing to do, please come and entertain. Just want my wife to be safe, have a job, and maybe a future for my kids. That's a reasonable expectation, Pierre Rousseau. Exactly, Colonel. Me, for one, don't care where I go. I just want to be safe. And that's it. Yep. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap up this stream. I got 353 here. How many are going to show up? We're going to go live for coverage of the events in Pretoria East in Hatfield, the American Embassy at the corner of Orient and Pretoria Streets. You've got Pretorius on the north side and Schoeman on the south side. Sorry, Francis Bard. And the American Embassy is right there. Remember, bear in mind it's a Saturday, but because of the events and because the approved march and the authority and the security that's going to be on hand, I do believe that there'll be probably somebody, either the charge d'affaires or one of the political officers, be able to accept whatever petition is being handed over. So we'll cover that. Hopefully we'll have some good coverage. Hopefully it'll go well. I will say this. People worried about the event. I'm less worried about the event after talking to organizers and finding out that they have security. Also, right now, this event, nobody in the States cares. I'll bet you I'm probably the only American, if I'm wrong, that's fine, probably the only American content creator that's covering this live. Yeah, and probably no news organizations covering live. If something happens, then it will be covered live. Those who want people to be gone don't want to start any trouble because it'll just draw attention. And the people who are attacked will get sympathy from America, and there'll be more pressure from Trump. So as far as I'm concerned, the authorities in South Africa, if they have any control, SAPs and others, any control whatsoever in Pretoria East, they will make sure that nothing untoward happens today because they don't want more attention drawn to this. They don't want Americans seeing videos of mostly white people being beaten by thugs on the street, because then that'll reinforce the belief that this is a serious situation, and then Trump will start taking action. So I think and I hope that it'll be calm. We'll see what happens. All right, we're going to go live. I'm going to take a short break. Please stick with me. 357 people here. Be sure to hit the like button. Please quit freeloading. Yes, I know you don't like that, but you are freeloading if you come to the channel. You don't give a like or dislike. I just want to know how many eligible bachelorettes. Dan Bailey wants to the border my sea. FarmersOnly.com. Wouldn't mind living in a small population with a long cold season. Dan Bailey's a cowboy, ladies. All right. Okay. See you shortly, folks. Hang around. Stick with me, and we'll be back up in just a few minutes with the next broadcast. You'll be automatically redirected. Dirk, thank you for the super chat. First one of the stream. All right. We'll see you guys in just a couple minutes. Cheers.